Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today is Casing Tuesday, the day when we take a card out of the catalog and give it a makeover. I just need to check on my microphone situation. I think we're doing well. Let me see if I can up the input volume a little bit. All right, let's see if I can get things back rolling. Okay, I hope the volume is okay for you. I've switched to using a different mic, and I just want to make sure that everything is working fine. So the great thing about Casing Tuesday is that we can all join in and we all make over the same card. So that is a great thing. While I'm waiting for some of you to pop on, I'm just going to ask. Later on, some of you will watch this as a recording, and I just wanted to check in with you guys and see how you were doing. I know this is a challenging time for all of us, and I'll talk a little bit more at the end of the video about that. All right, let me pull up the card that we're working on today. Give me 1 second. I usually pull them up ahead of time, but I'm going to do these one at a time. This one. So this is the card that we are going to be giving a makeover to today. It comes out of the mini catalog. And I really was intrigued by that layer, that crumb cake layer that floral image is stamped on. So that really inspired me and kind of helped me with my card today. So let me show you the sketch for that. Let me pull that up too. A little slow today. I'm almost there. Okay. Okay, so here is the sketch, and you can see that we've got kind of a layer that's a little crooked, and I even did my layer crooked, so that's kind of cool. And then we've got some different supporting layers in the background. So if you want to see these where you can copy over the images, you can just click down below and head over to my blog, and that way you'll be able to grab those images pretty easily. So let me get rid of that. So let me show you what I did with my card. I'm going to switch over the camera so we can take a little bit better of a look. Good morning to everyone who's joined me. Good morning, good morning. All right, let's pop over to my camera over here. So, and hopefully my mic is still working well. So here is the card that I created with the challenge, and I pointed out the crumb cake layer. And so I really liked that, and I thought I definitely want to keep that going on my card. And I even kept this layer crooked. I am using a new suite that we have that's available now. It's called the Ornate Garden Suite, and it has multiple pieces that can go with it. It's kind of a mix and match thing, and I will show you the pieces that I use for this card. So the first one was the Ornate Style stamp set, and this one is part of a bundle, so you can get these two together, the Ornate Style bundle, or you can buy them both separately. When you buy a bundle together, you save 10%. So if you were thinking of getting them both in the future, then I would get them together so you can see the 10%. And so I use the floral image, and then I also use this die right here to create this layer for the thanks. And you notice it's a little bit shorter, and I'm going to show you how I accomplish that in a moment. And the other stamp set that I use, there's a second bundle in this suite called Ornate Thanks Bundle, and I just used the stamp set out of there. So I put the bundle in the supply list just in case you're interested. It has a lot of border dies, which are also beautiful. And the ornate thanks, these are so, so beautiful. I love big chunky words. So this set immediately drew me in, and it's just a beautiful thank you set. I think one that you will want to have just for your general thank yous as well. The other thing that I use, let me see if I have it here. Nope, I left it across the room. Just let me go grab it. The other thing I used was the Ornate Garden Specialty paper, and you can see a smattering of it right here. These are different sheets, so different patterns that you can see. And this paper is just gorgeous. Now on the back of some of this paper, we've got foil elements. So let me see if I can find the sheet that, I think it was this one here. This one right here has this pattern on the front, and then it has this foiled pattern on the back. And you could also just color those florals as well with whatever coloring medium you wanted to, but it also just looks nice. Like on this card right here, I didn't color it, I just left it blank, and it looks very pretty just like that. Okay, so how did I create this card? So let's start off with the crumb cake layer. This layer is, okay, I am going to be interrupted today, and I'm apologizing for this. Let's have a look. I have an order going in with Instacart this morning, and my shopper has started shopping. Okay. I just have to like approve some substitutions, so I'm sorry I have to do that, but if I don't do this now while we're doing this, I'm going to be like having issues down the road. So I want to make sure I'm sure you can all understand right now that it's crazy times, and like whenever your shopper's shopping, you have to like do it, and have no control over that. So anyway, I'm sorry about that. So I've got my floral image here, and it's on an e-block, and this is my chocolate chip ink pad. This is the only ink I used for this, and I chose chocolate chip ink because it looks very nice with the crumb cake cardstock, and also it kind of is a little bit I don't know, a little bit more rustic, a little bit more muted than the black, so I wanted to have that. So I'm really doing a good job of inking this up, and then I'm just going to kind of position this so that it's on my piece. Just kind of center it somehow. Give it a good squeeze down, and look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And then we're going to use Stampin' Blends. Okay, so let's start off with coloring the flowers, and I'm going to use my Balmy Blue Dark, and I'm just going to come in and I'm going to hit all these smaller flowers right here. I think it's hilarious that I have my Instacart order going in right now. Do any of you use Instacart? It's so hard to get a spot on Instacart right now, but like it's crazy, but I'm trying to not go into the grocery stores, at least for a couple of weeks. And so I have that order going in today. And last Tuesday was the first time I ever used Instacart. And so I'm still learning. So look, I am doing my flowers in the blue, and you can see right now they look dark, but they're going to dry a little lighter. I love the way that this looks on the crumb cake. It's all muted colors. because they kind of, the crumb cake kind of gives it that muted sort of look. Later this week, I'm going to show you how I did some note cards with sponge daubers. So that will be a video tutorial I'll have later on this week. So I've done all of my smaller flowers all in the same color. And then I'm going to switch to my Pineapple Punch Dark. Now, if you love this color of Stampin' Blend, make sure you get a few extra because this color is retiring. It's a nice bright yellow, and you'll see in a moment it dries lighter and brighter than when it comes on, because when it comes on it's a little wet. The alcohol is wet and then it dries and it comes in lighter. So I'm just coming in and doing all the petals. I'm not doing any shading with this at all. I am just laying down the color. I think it looks good just like as it is. There is a little shading in the stamp set, so that helps a lot. So there is the yellow. And then we have these two florals down here, and I am going to use my Calypso Coral Light for that. And I'm leaving the centers of the flowers blank because I'm going to come in and do something different with those. I'm just coming in, hitting all the florals. Now this card, you know, because of the coloring involved, does take a little longer. And, you know, right now, sometimes coloring is very therapeutic. So, you know, don't see this as a bad point of this card. See it as a good point because coloring can like slow down your heart rate and just generally make you feel good. So I'm coming along here and hitting all the colors like that. All right, then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green light and I'm going to do all the leaves. And I'm using the brush tips for this because these are fairly large areas. And so I'm just going to come along. I hope you can see this as I come along and hit all these colors, leaves. So not too many substitutions yet on my Instacart, so that's good. I had to decide, all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, it's Easter Sunday this weekend. And I had like no idea what I was going to cook for Easter Sunday, so I had to like figure that out real quick. And you know, shopping like this is just so foreign to me because I just go into the store usually and see, oh, what's fresh today? And, you know, I usually go shopping maybe twice a week. And now I'm trying to limit myself to shopping once a week. And it's just a whole different experience. Wow, I'm sure everyone is learning a whole bunch of new things through this experience. And maybe this will help us grow. It's not something that I would wish on anyone, but if we can find any positives through this, I think that is a good thing. Because if you always just focus on the negative, it's going to stress you out, and that's not going to make you healthy, right? So we want to make sure that we stay healthy. So, okay, so I've got my Granny Apple Light, and I'm going to come in and just do the stems right here. And then I'm going to come back and do the centers of my flowers. The blue flowers, I'm going to use just a little bit of the Pineapple Punch and just hit those centers real quick. And then for these daisies up here, I'm going to use my Calypso Coral and just color those centers in. All right, I think I hit all of, oh, another substitution. Okay, let me see what we got here. Okay. Let's see. Let me find something else. All right, I chose another replacement for something. Sorry about that, guys. All right, moving right along. This is such an interesting Casing Tuesday. All right, let's put this card together. So I've got my layer, my card base, and this is 11 inches by 4¼ inches and score in half at the 5½ inch mark. And then I've got this layer of this beautiful paper, but I'm using the gold foil layer. And this layer is 4 inches by 5¼ inches. We are going to glue these together first. Just use a light layer of Tombow. And I'm going to stand up so I can make sure that I can get this centered. So this layer is perfectly centered on the front. Then we're going to grab this chocolate chip layer. This layer measures 3 7/8 by 1¼ inches. And if for some reason you don't have, can't write down these measurements and you want to know them, just go to my blog because I have a section where I write down all my measurements. And I want this maybe about 1 inch from the bottom here. So let's go ahead and add this piece first. So this one, about 1 inch from the bottom, right about there. And it's going to come right all the way to the side. And this layer is actually straight. Then I'm going to take some linen thread and just come around here. Let me grab my little tweezy guys. So I've got enough to tie a bow. And, oh, where are my scissors? Okay. So I'm going to just wrap this around my chocolate chip layer here. And I'm going to tie this first little piece and I'm going to create a knot. Then I'm going to tweeze with my locking tweezers. And then I'm going to tie a knot. Because this is thin, it's not going to add too much bulk. That knot, normally I'd go in right away and tie my bow, but since it's thin, I'm just going to do the knot first. And then I'm going to tie a little bow like that. And then I will just trim off my edges just a little bit, the ends. Okay. So now we've got this layer and we're going to add that right along here. And we're going to use dimensionals. And I wanted to just show you, after I've used my dimensionals, you have this outer layer of extra pieces. And sometimes I just want to go in and just use those up. So I just use them on a big layer like this. And I'll just come along and just stick them on the back just so I can use them up. Not that it's that important that you use these all up, but you may as well, like if you have a big chunky layer, you can just stick them on the back and it just uses them up. And then I feel like I have completed a whole sheet and I can throw those out. Oh, I might need to do this to go around the corner. Okay, that back looks terrible, right? Oh, I think I just threw my scissors in the garbage. I'll have to retrieve those in a second. Wow. I'm having that kind of a morning, right? I'm not good at multitasking, let me tell you. I'm a real detail-oriented person, so multitasking is like really messes with me because I can't control all the details. It's like keeping a whole bunch of juggling balls up in the air. Okay, so this is going to come along like this. I'm just holding my bow back so that it doesn't stick on there. So I want this on here crooked. Okay, last thing we need to do is create this thanks. So let me just set that aside for a moment, and I'm going to bring in my board. That was my cutting plate. It just fell off. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. So I start off with a piece of just plain Whisper White, and I'm going to bring in my die, this one right here, and I'm going to cut it. Best to cut this a bit on an angle, because when it goes through with the flat side first, it sometimes doesn't cut very well. So if you can stick it in coming on a corner. So let me cut that first. And now we want to shorten it down. So let me put that through. So we're going to shorten this down. And how short do we want to make it? So let's see, I've got our ruler here. This one right here is just a little bit, maybe 2 5/8 inches. So I'm going to just kind of maneuver this about 2 5/8. That looks about right. Okay, so now I'm just going to line this piece back up, okay? So you have to line it up this way, okay, so you get that stitched piece on that end, and you just want to make sure you line it back up in the stitching. Now you're going to place it down. Make sure you haven't placed it down crooked. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run it through just a little bit, just on the edge, just till it gets over that first little hump, and then we're going to come back right out. And then you can see how it just cut that little edge piece, and it made your little piece just a little bit shorter. So that is how I created my shorter piece, and that helps a little bit with this image right here because it then doesn't look wonky, right? Okay, so now I need to find my thanks. Here it is. And here's my espresso ink. And I'm just going to ink this up really well and then center it and then come down. And there is my thanks. So now I'm done with the chocolate chip, and I can add this to my card with a little bit of Tombow. All right. Okay. And then I'll just add this. I'm centering it on that early espresso piece. So there's probably the same distance above and below. And that is how I created my card. And it's also how I shortened this piece, which I think is really important if you want to use some of the shorter greetings in there. I think that looks really cool. I could have also added a sub greeting underneath and scooted that up a little bit. So you can definitely do that as well because there's enough room on here. But I just kept it fairly simple by just doing the thanks on there. So what do you guys think? Did you like that kind of card? What do you think about stamping and coloring on crumb cake? I think it's kind of a nice look. It's kind of got the muted tones. I think you might appreciate that look maybe even better a little bit in fall, because this definitely also can look a little bit like a fall floral. But keep it in mind because I actually think it looks great coloring on those crumb cake ink. So guys, how are you guys doing your grocery shopping? I'm like, it's crazy out there, right? Just crazy. It's like you feel like everyone has the plague, and you know, we are social beings by nature, and it's very hard for me not to go somewhere and not talk to people. So it's better that I am not in the store because I would talk to people, always sit there and chat with people. And so I don't need to be doing that right now. I don't need to, I'm not sick, but if someone gets me sick, then I could get other people sick. So that's kind of the way it's going. I'm so glad you like the card. Oh, oh, and Karen says she uses up all her dimensionals the same way. I mean, they're great to use up on those big pieces, and I just slap them down. I probably, if I was using regular dimensionals, I would use less. But at that point, I'm just like, I want to use up the sheet, right? I just want it to be gone and done. Um, Janine said she did an online order at Walmart and picked it up curbside. That's great. Yeah, like so do whatever you have to do. I would gladly go and pick up my grocery order, but right now they're only offering delivery orders. So, again, you just have to do what you have to do, right? Whatever you can get. It's like a crazy world out there. All right, I hope you guys are taking care of yourself. Um, join in this card challenge yourself, make a card, don't worry about it being perfect or beautiful, or just get out there and stamp, because creativity is good. Try something new. You can join us on our Facebook group. Look for the link down below, and if you're not already a member, you can join, and then you can post your card on there and we can comment on it. And so definitely do that. Stamp some cards for other people, put them in the mail. Usually posts, people can pick up your mail right at your door, or you can drop it in a mailbox in an area if you're allowed to get out of your house. Um, yeah, so do those things. Do other things to keep yourself healthy if you can. Like try, if you're able to get fresh fruits and vegetables, make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're getting some exercise. Don't let the fact that if you can't go outside, don't let that be an excuse not to like walk around a bit. Find a walking area, a hallway, a place maybe you can walk around your furniture. Get some exercise. It's really good for your mental health. Do some breathing. There's lots of good YouTube videos on yoga. Take it easy. Don't go like all out. You don't want to strain yourself, but just do things that will help you as a person, and keep yourself a little bit sane during this craziness going on. And anyway, I had a kind of a crazy week last week, so my headspace wasn't perfect. So you will find ebbs and flows, and mainly last week, right after the end of the month, my dad went into the hospital. He doesn't have COVID, but he's been struggling with health issues, and he has an infection right now. They're getting it under control, and hopefully he'll be able to come home. But it's very scary right now, like communication wise, when a loved one goes in the hospital, even if they're a non-COVID patient, they can't get any visitors. It's even my sister, who's a nurse at that hospital, can't visit my dad. So the situation is like really bizarre and scary. And when you have that happening in your life, it plays on your emotions and stuff. And so I won't lie, like I'll have ebbs and flows too. I'm generally try to be happy and positive and all of that. And stamping is so wonderful because of that. So I hope you guys have a great week. I'm going to go check on this Instacart replacement that I'm going to have to do, and I will try and get another video up for you later this week. Have a great week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.